There's something dangerous about language that almost nobody talks about. The moment we name something, we think we understand it. And the moment we think we understand it, we stop looking at it. I was talking with my sister about ADHD the other day. I've had the same conversation with my wife. And what struck me wasn't the diagnosis, it was the label. Because labels feel helpful. They organize chaos, they give us a box to put behavior in. But they also do something else. They shrink possibility. When you say this is ADHD, your nervous system hears something different. It hears this is fixed, this is structural, this is who I am. And the moment identity attaches a label, behavior begins to orbit it. You don't just notice distraction, you start scanning for proof of distraction. You don't just struggle to focus, you begin expecting to struggle. That expectation changes physiology. It also changes your attention. It changes how others treat you. And that changes you. This isn't about denying biology. This isn't about pretending neuroscience doesn't exist. ADHD is clinically recognized neurodevelopmental condition. It involves differences in attention regulation, impulse control, and executive function. The brain systems that manage planning and sustain focus. That's real. But here's the part we don't talk about. A diagnosis is a tool. It's a map. And maps are not the territory. The word is not the experience. The label is not the totality of human nervous system. Language compresses reality. It takes something dynamically complex and context dependent and freezes it into a noun. Once something becomes a noun, we treat it as a thing. And things feel permanent. But behavior is not a thing. It's a pattern. And patterns change. When we over-identify with a label, we unconsciously narrow our range. We stop experimenting. We stop exploring alternative interpretations. We stop asking, in what environment does this trait become an advantage? Because there's the twist. Many traits associated with ADHD, rapid ideation, novelty seeking, high stimulation tolerance, can be extraordinary assets in the right context. Entrepreneurship, creative problem solving, crisis response, innovation. The same pattern that is disruptive in one environment can be elite in another. But if you collapse the pattern into identity, you may never reposition it. Language attaches to the nervous system. It creates expectation. Expectation shapes perception. Perception shapes behavior. Behavior reinforces identity. That loop is powerful. And most people are living inside loops they didn't consciously choose. When we say, this is just how I am, we close the door. Curiosity dies. Exploration dies. Growth dies. The world right now is saturated with labels. Political labels, psychological labels, cultural labels. And every label feels like certainty. But certainty is seductive. It gives relief. It also stops inquiry. And in a world full of distortion, the only truth you can truly access is the truth you investigate yourself. Not blindly rejecting science, not blindly accepting it, investigating it, testing your own nervous system, testing your own patterns, seeing where the label helps you and where it quietly limits you. Language is a tool, but if you're not careful, it becomes a cage. The question isn't whether ADHD exists. The question is, are you using the label to expand understanding? Or are you using it to finalize identity? Because once you finalize identity, you stop becoming. And the mind is far more plastic, far more adaptive than most people have the courage to explore. The moment you reopen the question, you reopen possibility. And possibility changes everything.